us may Allah bless him, inshallah, a lecture. So those who would like to stick around for the talk, you're very, very welcome, inshallah, to do so. يروي الإمام أحمد في مسنده بسند صحيح عن معاذ بن جبل رضي الله عنه قال النبي صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم. The hadith in the collection Imam Ahmad, narrated to us by Mu'adh bin Jabal with the authentic chain narration. This hadith I narrated 2 weeks ago, but it didn't get broadcasted, it didn't get recorded. And I'm trying to put together a playlist that talks about one topic. I know this may sound futile to you, but for the purpose of teaching the youth and certain courses, I like to have like playlists of a hadith that talk about a specific topic and get kids to memorize them and to work on them. So I'm narrating this hadith again, so if you heard it 2 weeks ago, you can don't mind me if it's repetitive for you. But it's a very nice hadith, it's very interesting, and I really do enjoy narrating it, and hopefully those of you who heard it once will benefit from hearing it again. يقول عليه الصلاة والسلام: ألا أخبركم بخير أعمالكم وأزكاها عند مليككم وأرفعها في درجاتكم وخير لكم من إنفاق الذهب والفضة وخير لكم من أن تلقوا عدوكم فتضربوا أعناقهم ويضربوا أعناقكم. So he asked the question, alayhi salatu wasalam, to a group of people, the Sahaba, and he said, should I not tell you about a deed that is the best of your deeds, and it's the most pure in the eyes of your Lord, and it's the one that elevates your ranks the quickest or the strongest or the most powerfully, and it's better for you than spending your gold and your silver, and it's better for you than being in combat with your enemy and you strike them and they strike you. Now obviously this sentence on its own is extremely intriguing, because what on earth could be so, like what is it? What on earth is better than all of these things put together, or even one of them? Or any of these phrases that he used, alayhi salatu wasalam, if he just used that phrase, the question would still be very intriguing and you'd want to hear the answer. But he clumped up almost everything, alayhi salatu wasalam. So the Sahaba answered obviously, قالوا بلى يا رسول الله, yes, please tell us. فقال عليه الصلاة والسلام ذكر الله عز وجل. That's it. The remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala himself. The mentioning of Allah. To speak of Allah. To think of Allah. To talk to others about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. To teach about Him. Just for Allah's name to come out in conversation through praise or through exaltation or through love. In any form. What we're doing right now qualifies, actually is probably one of the highest qualifying one. When there's a dars and people are listening, that's the best way to remember and speak of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But when you think about it, how is it that the Prophet ﷺ said this one deed is the best of your deeds? It's the highest ranking. Allah loves it the most. It's better than giving your wealth. What do you mean it's better than giving my wealth? I don't have to give wealth. I can just sit there and do tasbih and no need to give my wealth. If jihad is needed, I don't need to go and stand my ground. I can just sit there and do tasbih. No. We know that's not the case. We know that you are obligated, in some moments, you are obligated to give your wealth. And if you don't, you're held accountable. And if you said, well, I was doing dhikr instead, then that's not going to fly. It's not going to work for you. Like it's not going to suffice. And if you're needed on the battlefield to stand your ground and defend, and you said, well, I was in the masjid doing dhikr, it's not going to suffice. So what does he mean by this, alayhi salatu wasalam? He means, what he's trying to say, alayhi salatu wasalam, is that the essence of all of these deeds is dhikrullah azza wa jalla. If you rip it out, none of these things matter anymore. So he's trying to talk about the essence, alayhi salatu wasalam. It's best because it's really what they're for. وَأَقِمِ الصَّلَاةَ لِذِكْرِ. You pray because you're trying to achieve dhikr. Why did Allah send the Prophet? So that they can لِنَذْكُرَكَ كَثِيرًا, as in Surah Al-Taha. So you follow around this concept in the Quran, you find it's the purpose of why you do things. If you give your wealth, but you did not, when you gave your wealth, you weren't thinking of Allah at all. You didn't care. It wasn't a part of your equation whatsoever. Like to pleasing Allah or doing it for the sake of Allah, or seeing your wealth to be belonging to Allah, and you are giving it to others because that pleases Allah, and because it's not your wealth to begin with. If that's not there, then what really is the benefit of this? If you're standing on the battlefield and you're fighting your enemy, and there's no concept of doing this for the sake of Allah, understanding that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala commands you to fight for justice and to defend the oppressed, and that there is reward at the, then what exactly, there's nothing left. Like the action becomes mechanical and it's a skeleton of what it once was. It doesn't mean anything. So what the Prophet ﷺ in a beautiful way is trying to tell us is that this is what you have. Make sure you have this. It's the most important of everything. It's what Allah loves the most. It's what's very pure. It's what elevates your ranks. It's better than all these other stuff, because it's the essence of all these other stuff. It's the essence of it. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not need my wealth. Doesn't need my bravery. He doesn't need me in any way. But He's interested in what's happening inside my heart. He's interested in what I think and what I feel and what I say about him, subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that there's a relationship. I was given this opportunity to prove myself. I was given the opportunity to live a life where he shows me love and I figure out how to show him love back, subhanahu wa ta'ala. So if I give the wealth but he's not in my heart, then I stand on the ground and he's not in my heart, and I pray and he's not in my heart, then there's no point system here. He's not getting stronger, subhanahu wa ta'ala, because you're praying, or weaker if you don't. It doesn't affect him at all, subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is for you. So if you're missing the point of it all, then you're in trouble. We're all in trouble. If we're missing the point, we're in trouble. Which is why he said this, alayhi salatu wasalam. I think it's very meaningful. I'll end with that. Subhanahu wa bihamdik, shanu la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Wa sallallahu wa sallam wa baraka ala nabiyyina wa habibina Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi. Jazakumullahu khair, barakallahu feekum. Inshallah, Shaykh